for Lauren Faber.
Yourselves. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for braving the cold and the Valentine's Day parking nightmare that is Chapel Hill. It's really fantastic. Give it up for the comics who've come before. This has been amazing. It's been an honor to be a part of this, truly. Let's start first things first, clear things up in case it's not clear for anybody. I date women. Yeah, obviously, right? Obviously, that didn't surprise anybody. I also identify as a woman, which I realize is less obvious. I get called sir a lot, which really doesn't bother me. I did this on purpose. That's not your fault. The only time it really bothers me to be mistaken for a man is in a public bathroom. That can be dicey. I was in this bathroom holding a stall door shut for my friend, and this girl walked in and saw me and was like, "Whoa, are you supervising?" I was like, you hear the gears grinding in her head, like, men aren't supposed to be in here. But they are supposed to exercise authority over all areas of their life. And as long as you're doing that, you can stay. I was just like, yeah, I'm supervising. I'm gonna sit here. Because I can't handle confrontations, like, ever. I'm very bad at them. You guys have heard of fight or flight? Right? The idea that, like, over millions of years we've evolved to be able to make a split-second decision when faced with a threat to either attack it or run away from it. It's kind of an old theory, I guess, and since they've started letting women do science, they've added freeze. It's not an option, and do favors. I'm a freezer myself. I freeze. Like when I get tricked into a threesome with a straight couple. I'm so tired of that happening. The first time it happened, I was living in Cincinnati, which is my excuse. I went there for school and I didn't know anybody and I just wasn't really connecting with people. I'll tell you about the one date that I went on when I was living in Cincinnati. We went to see a movie, this gal and I, and as we were walking into the theater, we passed a poster for The Boy in Striped Pajamas. Yeah, correct. Which for those of you who don't know is about a 6-year-old boy in a Holocaust concentration camp. Yeah, so she looked at this and was like, why is that kid in jail? It's the Holocaust? She was like, I know, but what did he do? Like, is there a crime I could tell you that you'd be like, oh, yeah, well, that makes sense, yeah. Concentration camp offense. A 6-year-old. Like, she looked at a child behind barbed wire and was like, ooh, you're something really naughty. No. I was like, you were joking back there, right? There's no way you meant that. She was like, no. I'm very careful to know what a movie is about, ever since I saw Hotel Rwanda. And it wasn't about spring break. So that was Cincinnati for me. It wasn't going well. I was pretty lonely. So I was at a bar and I was talking to this girl. And she's pretty cute, but in a very tattooed and pierced kind of way, which is fine. It's just not really my thing, because despite being a huge lesbian, I have all the pearl-clutching sensibilities of the 1950s housewife. So I wasn't sure if I approved of that. this conversation. And she told me that she and a guy friend that she was at the bar with were both graduates of clown college. Strike two. Then she told me that her specialty was contortionism. So I had to, right? It was decided for me by the universe. So I get in the guy friend's truck, and we drive for 30 minutes over a river, which is how I knew we were in Kentucky. And that was when shit got real for me. Let me tell you, nothing sobers a queer up faster than a surprise arrival in Kentucky. Instantly had all my faculties restored to me. And I just started imagining the headlines like Cincinnati grad student found dismembered in basement of Kentucky clown duo. And at that point, I was honestly more embarrassed than I was afraid. I was like, they can murder me, but they better dismember me real good, because no one can ever know I did this. Except for you fine people. So I'm in bed with the gal, and I'm like, man, she really is flexible. Like, that foot on my back, so articulate, it almost feels like a third hand. Oh my God, it's a third hand. The dude is in the bed, and it's just frozen. Pretend it was. My primal instincts told me to do. Years of evolution, I went with that. But it worked, so we all fell asleep, threesome averted. That's a tip you guys can use if you're in that situation. You're welcome. I don't know why they thought that was gonna work. I don't know what about me made them, like, I'm confusing to some people. I can be shocking even. My mother was apparently quite shocked when I came out to her, which I find kind of hard to believe. I was Prince Eric from The Little Mermaid for 9 Halloweens in a row. That's not a very interesting character. And those were like my growing years. My mom had to make that outfit like 5 times. She should have noticed. She's still kind of trying to figure out like where things went off the rails. She's got this book called Why Your Kid is Gay and How It's Your Fault. It's a good read. It says that on the page that she marked with a paperclip, it says that this is all because she didn't love me enough as a child. Which, while politically problematic, feels true. And it has the added bonus of infuriating my mother, so I believe it very deeply. My dad was like less surprised. He was just kind of like, well, I mean, how do you know you wouldn't enjoy being with a man if you've never tried it? And I was like, have you tried it? How do you know? And he was like, nope, yes, nope. From guys, like, if you haven't tried it, like, that's a lot of confidence in the experience you're delivering, fellas. And do you really think that despite having never desired it a day in my life, if I just gave it a try, core elements of my being would change? If you think it's that amazing, how have you guys not tried it? Serious, this is a comedy break, but this is an important question. These hang-ups. Okay, you might be thinking like, well, I'm not designed to enjoy it. And I say, think again. There's not a huge difference between lady and fellow parts. Like, honestly, like, the penis is just a big clitoris. We all have a pair of gonads. There's a testes and ovaries. That's the scientific term for that. We're in science time. Stop laughing. But you guys may not realize this, but we all have a G-spot. Did everyone know that? Yeah. All the ladies are like, duh. I think we all know where a lady's G-spot is. If you don't, we can talk after the show. But does anyone know where a man's G-spot is? Here it is! She knows. It's your prostate. Congratulations, you have a G-spot. Yay! So they were like, I had my G-spot in my prostate poked at the doctor's office. Didn't love it, okay? Don't worry, that doesn't mean you can't love it. That just means you don't love it without a warm-up. And in harsh lighting. I think these are things you've heard before, fellas. Does it make more sense to you now? Importance of foreplay? Get it? No, I'm not trying to talk you guys into butt stuff. Live your lives. I just feel like it's a valuable empathy building exercise for us to realize that we're not really as different as we think, you know? I think it's important for men to think of the penis as a giant clitoris, because then you can understand how it would feel to have someone say to you, I'm not going to play with your dick because I can't find it. Everything I know I learned from my mother's Redbook magazines and the gay and lesbian section of the Bel Air Barnes & Noble. So that's where I'm drawn from. So there's some pretty big gaps in my sex knowledge, which is unfortunate because in college I got a $3,000 grant to fund my summer internship. So for the price of $3,000 I got to go to Tanzania and be a sex ed teacher. And she wanted the qualifications for such a position, $3,000. If they could just ask like a couple of questions, they would know what you all know just from looking at me, which is that I don't know how to operate a condom. That has just never come up for me. And on top of that, I went to Catholic school where sex ed was just sitting in an auditorium looking at giant projected images of diseased genitalia and being told that a condom could not protect you from it. So I wasn't bringing a lot to the game, but I guess I figured I would learn what I needed to know in training. And I guess they figured no one would take that job without basic knowledge. So we were both wrong. Mistakes were made. So it came time for the condom demonstration. I was just like, okay, so I just open it up, right? And then you just unroll it, and translator was like, no, that's not how you do that at all. And I was like, oh, right, yeah, no, sorry, huh? Just a second, you only have the one. Don't do this, kids. That's like tube socks, more like pantyhose. Another thing I don't know how to operate. It wasn't great. One of the kids, we told them that the best way to dispose of a used condom in a place without plumbing was to bury it. And this kid was like, okay, well, when a dog digs it up and eats it, what kind of baby will the dog have? I really wanted to know what manner of man-dog scent Artis Last was going to unleash upon the world. He's going to have a man head or a dog head, or just like look like a dog, but wear clothes and carrying conversations on TV like, what? He needed to know. And this was like really, it's the perfect opportunity to like stop and explain how sexual reproduction works. And I'm positive that as a qualified teacher would have done. But I just kind of reached into my back pocket for the only thing I learned about sex in Catholic school, which is you can't get pregnant through your stomach. So swallow away, kids. No, Lauren, no. Oh, God. Another kid was like, if a mosquito bites someone with AIDS and then bites me, will I get HIV? And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. What? Is that a thing? Holy shit! The translator was like, would you like me to explain how mosquitoes and HIV work? And I was like, yeah, you go ahead and take the lead on that one. Just tell me what you said in English later so I can make sure you it comes from an American. Like, we just are ascribing this, like, aura of authority around wealth and development, which I think is absurd. Like, I'm not more civilized than anybody because hot water comes out of my wall on demand. Like, I didn't do that. That's not my engineering feat. And that stops working. I just call out of work and sit down until someone comes to me at work again. A lawnmower broke last summer, and I moved to a place that didn't have a lawn. That's how I handled that challenge. And that is who I am as a person. So my name is Lauren Faber. That's my time. Thank you guys so much.
Lauren Faber, everybody. Please, one more time, give it up for all the